Are you learning English? Great! Listening to stories is a fun way to learn English. It improves your speaking, listening, and vocabulary. Join Heartfelt English Learning and subscribe to Master English with engaging stories.
I close my laptop and look at my watch. 11:47 p.m. Another day with no sunlight. The office is quiet around me. The cleaning people left hours ago. All I hear is the air conditioning and my phone beeping now and then. My phone is always making noise. Never quiet. Never at rest. Just like me. I see myself in the dark window. Gray hair where brown hair used to be. Lines around my eyes that have looked at numbers and papers for 30 years. I don't know this tired old man, even though we've been in the same body for many years. The drive home happens without thinking. Empty streets, yellow lights making long shadows. The radio plays quietly. A late-night show. People call in with problems, asking for help. I think about what I would say if I called. I gave up my life for a big office, and now I don't know how to live. They would probably not want to hear that. My house is dark and quiet, on a street of other dark, quiet houses. But those houses are different. Inside those doors are families, people who care about each other. Inside my door is just expensive furniture no one sits on, and clean counters that have never had family meals on them. Sarah left 2 years ago. I still remember the sound of her suitcases being dragged down the hardwood hallway. The decisive click of the front door. I didn't fight for her to stay. I was on a conference call with Tokyo. "I can't compete with your work anymore," she said that final night, her voice not angry, but resigned, which was somehow worse. "I've been losing for 20 years. And I'm tired of playing a game that was decided before it started." I told her she didn't understand. The promotion was coming. The sacrifices were temporary. Just a few more years, and I'd have time. Time for her, for the kids, for the life we'd always planned. She smiled sadly, the kind of smile that carries the weight of 1,000 disappointments. 20 years of temporary is a lifetime, James. Our children grew up. I grew old. You weren't there for any of it. I was building security for us, I argued. The same tired defense I'd been using since Rebecca was in diapers. "No," Sarah said, her voice soft but certain. "You were hiding from us. Work was your escape from the messy, unpredictable business of being a husband and father. And now you don't know how to be anything else." I had no answer for that. She was right, of course. Sarah was always right about the things that mattered. I unlocked the door to my empty home. No lights on, no dinner waiting, no warmth. Just the echo of my footsteps on hardwood floors and the soft thud of my briefcase hitting the counter. A sound that used to be followed by Rebecca's excited "Daddy's home," or Mark's quick footsteps racing from his room. Now, there's nothing but silence. I check my phone. A missed call from Rebecca. I'll call her tomorrow. I'm too tired now. Too tired to face the careful politeness in her voice. The distance that has grown between us like an invisible wall, brick by painful brick, built by my absences and broken promises. I pour myself 2 fingers of scotch and drink it standing at the kitchen counter. I don't bother turning on the lights. Darkness suits my mood. And besides, I know this house by touch and memory. I've paid for every inch of it, though I've lived in so little of it. Sleep comes fitfully, interrupted by dreams of ringing phones and missed appointments. Even in sleep, I can't escape the persistent anxiety that has fueled my career and destroyed my family. The next morning, my alarm blares at 5 a.m. Old habits. I don't need to be up this early anymore, but decades of discipline don't fade easily. I shower, dress, make coffee. The routine that defined me for 30 years continues on autopilot, though its purpose has vanished. I retired last month. Forced retirement. The company restructured, which is corporate speak for pushing out the old guard to make room for younger, cheaper talent. 30 years of loyalty ended with a handshake, a modest watch, and a retirement party where people I barely knew recited accomplishments I couldn't remember caring about. The irony isn't lost on me. All that time I saved for later, and now later has arrived with no one to share it with. All those family dinners I missed, school plays I skipped, vacations I cut short, all sacrificed on the altar of someday. And someday looks like this: an empty house, a silent phone, and the crushing weight of time I don't know how to fill. My phone buzzes on the counter. Rebecca again. I answer this time, if only to disrupt the oppressive quiet. "Dad, are you okay? I've been trying to reach you." Her voice carries a concern that makes me feel pathetic. My daughter shouldn't have to worry about me. It should be the other way around. But I forfeited that right long ago. "I'm fine," I say, though I'm not sure that's true. Just adjusting to retirement. There's a pause, the kind that's heavy with unspoken thoughts. "Listen, Dad, we need to talk. I'm coming over this afternoon." Something in her voice sends a ripple of unease through me. Worry? Determination? I can't tell. I've missed so many conversations, so many chances to learn the subtleties of my daughter's voice. I once knew every inflection, could tell from a single daddy whether she was excited, sad, or trying to wheedle an ice cream cone before dinner. When did I lose that ability? When did my daughter become a stranger? "Sure, sweetheart. I'll be here." Where else would I be? The thought lands heavily, a leaden weight settling in my chest. I have nowhere to be, no one waiting for me, no purpose driving me forward. For decades, my worth was measured in billable hours and client acquisitions. Now I'm left to wonder if I'm worth anything at all. I spend the morning organizing papers, a task I've put off, bills, insurance documents, retirement forms, my life reduced to paperwork. In a file labeled personal, I find old photos tucked between tax returns and property deeds. Rebecca's high school graduation, Mark's baseball championship, Sarah and me on our anniversary trip to Maine, the only vacation I didn't cut short for work. I study Rebecca in her cap and gown, her smile bright but her eyes searching the crowd. Looking for me, I realize with a pang. I was late to the ceremony, having squeezed it in between meetings. I remember my phone vibrating in my pocket throughout. Clients who couldn't wait. Deals that seemed so crucial then, but whose details I can't recall now. I was there, physically present, but my mind was elsewhere. I checked emails during the ceremony, took calls during the celebration lunch. Rebecca noticed. Of course she did. "It's okay, Dad," she said when I returned to the table after stepping outside to handle an urgent call. "I know you're busy." But it wasn't okay. I see that now, holding the photo of my beautiful daughter on what should have been a purely joyful day. Her accomplishment dimmed by my divided attention. I find Mark's baseball photo next. He's holding a trophy, grinning widely, his teammates surrounding him in a chaotic, jubilant mass of young energy. I wasn't at that game. Important client meeting. He called me afterward, excitement bubbling through the phone. "We won, Dad," Coach said. "My pitching saved the game." "That's great, buddy," I said, distracted by the proposal on my desk, the deadline looming. "We'll celebrate this weekend." We never did. Something came up. Something always came up. The photo of Sarah and me stops me cold. Bar Harbor, Maine. I remember the salt air, the sound of waves against the rocks, her hand in mine as we walked along the shore. For one golden week, I left my laptop closed, my phone silent. Sarah looked at me with such hope that week, like perhaps I'd finally understood what mattered. When we returned, I worked double hours to catch up. The hope in her eyes died, and something else took its place, a resigned acceptance that I was beyond redemption. The doorbell rings at 3 o'clock precisely. Rebecca was always punctual, unlike her brother. I tucked the photos away and moved slowly to the door, suddenly nervous. What could be so important that it requires an in-person visit? Rebecca and I usually communicate in brief texts and occasional phone calls that rarely delve beneath surface pleasantries. I open the door to find not just Rebecca, but Mark too, and Sarah. The three people I've disappointed most in this world, standing on my doorstep like solemn messengers. "What's this?" I ask, confusion and anxiety rising like a tide within me. "Family meeting," Rebecca says, her voice gentle but firm. She's a lawyer now, successful and respected. She learned determination from me, but compassion from her mother. They file into my living room, oddly formal in a house they once called home. Mark looks uncomfortable, hands in pockets, shoulders tense. He's taller than I remember, or maybe I'm shrinking. He visits at Christmas, brief appearances before returning to his life in Seattle. He has a family of his own now, children I barely know. Sarah sits on the edge of the sofa, poised and beautiful still, though silver threads her dark hair now. The sight of her in this house, our house, makes my chest ache with a complex mixture of longing and shame. "Dad," Rebecca starts, once they've all settled into an awkward tableau around my seldom-used living room. "We're worried about you." "I'm fine," I say automatically, the default response that has served me for decades. Never show weakness, never admit struggle. These were the unwritten rules of my career, and they've seeped into my personal life like a stain that won't wash out. "No, you're not," Sarah interjects. Even after the divorce, she knows me better than anyone. She sees through my defenses like they're made of glass. "You're alone too much. It's not good for you." "I've always been alone," I say, immediately regretting the self-pity in my voice. Self-pity is indulgent, unproductive. Another unwritten rule. Mark shifts in his seat, a muscle working in his jaw. "That was by choice, Dad." The words sting because they're true. I chose conference rooms over living rooms, deadlines over bedtimes, clients over family. I chose temporary over permanent, abstract over concrete, future over present. And now my future has arrived, barren and hollow. "Mark," Sarah cautions, a mother still mediating between father and son, though she owes me no such consideration. "No, he's right," I say, the admission like ground glass in my throat. "I made choices, bad ones mostly." Rebecca reaches for my hand, her touch both familiar and foreign. How long since I've been touched with affection? Dad, we haven't come to blame you. We've come with a proposal. A proposal? The businesslike term almost makes me smile. My daughter, using my language, building a bridge between my world and hers. Mark's company is opening an office in Boston, Rebecca explains. He and Jen and the kids are moving east, and I'm pregnant. The news hits me like a physical force. I'm going to be a grandfather again, and for the first time, I might actually be present for the milestone moments. First words, first steps. The thought fills me with a desperate longing I haven't allowed myself to feel in years. That's wonderful, I manage to say, though the word seems inadequate for the storm of emotions rising within me. We thought, Sarah begins, then looks at our children, a silent communication passing between them that I can't decipher. We thought maybe you'd consider moving closer to us. There's a condo for sale in our neighborhood. You could be part of the children's lives, part of our lives. I stare at them. These people who have every reason to keep me at a distance, offering me a second chance I don't deserve. The lump in my throat threatens to choke me. Why? I ask, the question raw and vulnerable. After everything I missed, why would you want me around? Mark looks down at his hands, strong hands like mine, but hopefully gentler, more willing to hold rather than build. I have a 4-year-old son who asks about his grandpa. I don't want to tell him you're too busy for him, the way I had to tell myself. The pain in his voice cuts through me, a clean slice that feels like it might bleed forever. Rebecca squeezes my hand, her touch an anchor in the storm of regret threatening to pull me under. And I want my child to know you, she says, her free hand resting protectively over her still flat stomach. The real you, not the workaholic who missed dinner every night. I don't know if I know the real me anymore. I admit, the confession leaving me exposed in a way that makes my hands tremble. Then, it's time you found out, Sarah says gently, her eyes holding not the condemnation I deserve, but a compassion I crave. James, you spent your life chasing security, but you lost everything that mattered in the process. Don't waste your remaining years alone with your regrets. I look at these 3 faces, these people I failed in so many ways, offering me redemption I haven't earned. The enormity of it, their capacity for forgiveness, for hope, despite all evidence, leaves me speechless. I don't know how to be present, I confess finally, the words scraping my throat. I don't know how to be part of a family. You learn, Mark says, surprising me with his directness. One day at a time. That's what I'm doing with my kids. There's no accusation in his tone, just statement of fact. He's figuring out fatherhood without a roadmap, without the example I should have provided. The thought both shames and inspires me. We're not asking for perfection, Rebecca adds, her lawyer's precision giving way to a daughter's simple wish. Just effort. Just presence. I think about my empty house, my empty calendar, my empty life. I think about the crushing weight of missed birthdays and soccer games, piano recitals and family vacations. I think about the lightness I feel right now, surrounded by the family I neglected, but who somehow haven't given up on me entirely. And I think about baseball games and ballet recitals and family dinners that I could actually attend. I think about learning who my children have become and meeting the grandchildren I've neglected. I think about the possibility of filling my remaining years with something other than regret. Okay, I say finally, the word small but carrying the weight of decades of bad choices and one potentially good one. I'd like that. The relief on their faces tells me they expected resistance. The old me would have given it. The old me would have found excuses, reasons why it wouldn't work. The old me would have chosen isolation over vulnerability, pride over connection, work over love. But the old me died with my career, and whoever I am now has nothing left to lose and everything to gain. We'll help you, Sarah says, and I realize she's been holding her breath, waiting for my answer. With the move. With everything. You don't have to do that, I say automatically, the instinct to refuse help still strong. Let us, Mark says, meeting my eyes directly. Let us do something for you, for once. The gentleness in his rebuke undoes me completely. I nod, not trusting my voice. They stay for dinner. Take out Chinese, because my refrigerator holds nothing but condiments and a carton of milk past its expiration date. The conversation is halting at first, cautious, but gradually warms. Rebecca talks about her pregnancy, her hopes and fears. Mark shares stories about his children that make me laugh and ache simultaneously. Sarah is quieter, watching. But when our eyes meet across the table, there's something there that isn't contempt or even pity. It might be understanding. It might be forgiveness. It might be nothing more than civility for our children's sake. Whatever it is, it's more than I deserve. That night, after they leave with promises to call tomorrow about real estate listings, I sit in my quiet house for the last time without dreading the silence. I think about all the nights I worked late, believing I was securing my family's future while destroying their present. I think about the man I was, always running toward some imagined finish line that kept moving just out of reach. I think about the man I might become if I embrace this second chance. My phone buzzes with a text from Rebecca. Dinner at our place, Sunday at 5. Don't be late. I smile at the gentle command. In the past, I would have hedged, said I'd try to make it, knowing full well that some emergency would likely prevent me from attending. Now I simply reply, I'll be there. And for the first time in decades, I mean it with absolute certainty. I'll be there for Sunday dinner, for ballet recitals, for baseball games, for first steps and lost teeth and skinned knees. I'll be there because I finally understand what my family knew all along. The most valuable thing we have isn't money or status or security. It's time. And I've wasted enough of mine. But perhaps, if I'm very lucky and work harder at being present than I ever worked at being successful, perhaps there's still enough left to build something real.
Keep learning English with heartfelt stories. Like, subscribe, and comment your favorite story below. Join us at Heartfelt English Learning to boost your skills.